Well, when it comes to cinematic videos, I do believe most of people would talk about the natural motion blurs, and this will lead to 180 shutter angles rules. In this video, I'm not going to talk about this rule because I've already talked about this 180 shutter angle rule in another video, so feel free to watch that if you haven't. In order to create a natural motion blurs, you have to follow the 180 shutter angles rules. In short, you have to shoot at the shutter speed that's doubles of your frame rates. For example, if you're shooting at 35 frames per second, you have to shoot at 1/50 of the seconds in order to create that natural motion blur. This might sound easy, but it might be an issue for a run-and-gun project or even a sunny day outdoor setting like this. However, there's a very simple solution, which is using a ND filter. I personally don't really use an ND filter because I never felt that the trade-off of image quality and workflow were worth it. But don't get me wrong, it's very important and useful to use an ND filter to compensate the exposure and control the depth of field. However, most of the traditions VND or even ND filters have several issues. One of them is inconvenience. Secondly, the color shifting and softened image. And lastly, one of the most annoying thing is the cross-polarization issue. The X-cross results when you overturn the VND. On and on, camera gear should help you to achieve the result that you want in a more convenient, easy way. So I did some research and I found this product from Freewell is a magnetic 7-in-1 VND filter systems. It looks pretty interesting and we are very fortunate enough that Freewell sent us these products and finally we got it in our hands. So let's get into it. The one I have is the latest design and it comes with a nice leather carrying case. And when you open up, you can easily just pull it out and get to see all of the filter. All of them are extremely solid and well designed, and also they come with various sizes. Alright, they have a lot of filters and it seems a bit confusing at first, but it makes sense after understanding what exactly they do and how it works. Mainly, there are three types of filters. The first is ND filter, which acts as a sunglasses for your lens. It decreases the amount of lights coming into your camera. And the main reason to use an ND filter is like what I mentioned earlier, to keep your shutter speeds, aperture and ISO the way we want. ND filter comes with various strengths and basically the higher the number of ND, the stronger it cuts the lights. Obviously, you couldn't reduce the sunlight, so the only thing you can do is to use one of these ND filter and you are able to reduce the lights into your cameras without compromising any of the settings. You might also heard of variable ND, which is exactly what it sounds. It's a ND filter with a variable strength. It can be a 2 to 5 stop VND or 6 to 9 stop VND. In general, it's pretty handy when it compares to normal standard ND filters because you can change the strength of ND without changing the filter every single time. Now you can just dial into the strengths of VND at any time. All in all, VND seems to be a perfect solution, but most of VND in the markets has the cross-polarization problems, but this Freewell VND never runs into any of these issues. Next up is the CPL, Circular Polarizer. It's a filter that goes in front of a lens and it reduces the amount of reflections from the surface like water, glass, paint, leaves, sky, building, etc. You can just simply rotate the circular polarizing filter to control the glare before it gets into your image. In general, CPL is very handy to darken the blue skies and it helps to bring out the clouds. And also maybe you can just reduce the reflections from the windows and any glasses. Lastly, the mist filter, a filter that creates a softness and dreamy looks in your image. In short, it removes or takes away some of the digital sharpness in your image. And the most noticeable result you will get from this lens is soft bloom around the highlight area. This gives you a more dreamy, soft-looking image through the frames, which is very interesting effects. So right now, let's talk about what it comes with. In the Freewell box, it comes with 4 glasses, 1 base ring, a magnetic lens cap. The first thing you will see is the magnetic lens cap, and yes, it functions as a lens cap. It just covers your lens in a more cool way, the magnetic way. Next is the base rings, which is the magnetic mount base for all filters. then followed by the base inserts, which comes with a regular one-stop ND filter, and the second one is the one-stop ND combines with the mist filter. Next up, the VND filter. The first VND filter is the 2 to 5 stop ND, and the magical part of it is it has a design where you can just flip around and you'll get the CPL filter at the other side. The last filter is the 6 to 9 stops VND, and on the other side is the ND32 CPL. Alright, the best part with this system is definitely the magnetic system. So right now, you can just snap everything in the magnetic way. So satisfying looking at it. Anyway, so this magnetic system is definitely a game changer because right now you don't really have to go with the traditional way where you have to unscrew and rescrew everything every single time. Instead, you just have to remove and just snap it and you're good to go. First, you have to screw the base string onto your lens, then you can easily just snap the filter onto it effortlessly. For example, I'm going to snap the base ND filter into the base ring and line it up with the Freewell logo. Now, I'm getting one-stop ND filter. If it's not dark enough, you can simply just pop on the 2 to 5 VND filter and make sure the 2 to 5 stops labels is facing outwards. You also need to line up the arrow at the A at the side of filter. Now, you have a 2 to 5 stop variable ND filter with a hard stops, and it's amazing. If it's not dark enough, you can simply just do the same thing with the 6 to 9 stop VND by popping up the 2 to 5 stop and replace it to 6 to 9. The best part is you can easily just use the CPL filter by turning it around and it says CPL. However, something to keep in mind, you do have to remove the base ND before using the CPL filter. So right now you will get either the CPL or the ND32 with the CPL. Aside from that, you can change the base filter to ND plus mist instead of just the base ND, and now you can just repeat the whole process and get different results. In terms of optical quality, I did a quick test between the original footage, the cheaper VND, and also the Freewell VND. As you can see, most of the filter will slightly degrade the footage and also give you some color cuts. However, a better VND tends to have a lesser side effects. Surprisingly, I couldn't find any sharpness difference between the cheaper VND and also the Freewell VND. Despite all that, you may notice some minor cross-polarization happens in the cheaper VND. Alright, functionality-wise, this VND is pretty practical in real world, I would say. All in all, this VND is great, I would say. I'm very satisfied and I love it so much, and I believe, you know why. This VND kind of changed the conventional way of using an ND filter, and I really like how it works and it really makes my life much easier. However, this lovely product comes with a pretty costly price. It costs around 400 USDs for one size. Honestly, it's pretty costly if you think about it, but if you're serial filmmakers or a person that who really use ND filter in a daily basis, then I must say this filter is gonna be worth every penny. However, if a person who just started off filmmaking and you just want to have an ND filter that works, then get yourself some cheap VND which costs around 25 USD and it works fine. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys do enjoy, let us know what you think about this video, and also let me know what you think about this filter. I hope you guys like this video, and as always, create, learn, and have fun. I will see you guys in the next video.